In an age of total chaos, a brutal famine swept the land, leaving nothing but death and bitterness in its wake. For two widows, Naomi and Ruth, it felt like the end. They'd lost their husbands, their home, and their future. But what if this story of loss wasn't the end? What if their journey, fueled by fierce loyalty and unshakable faith, was secretly the beginning of a royal dynasty that would change the world forever? This is the untold story of how God works in the shadows to turn bitterness into a blessing. It all starts in one of the darkest times in Israel's history, an era of moral decay where everyone did what was right in their own eyes. A famine forces a man named Elimelech, his wife Naomi, and their two sons to flee their home in Bethlehem for the neighboring country of Moab. But tragedy follows them. First, Elimelech dies. Then, after her sons marry Moabite women, Orpah and Ruth, both sons, die too. In just a decade, Naomi's world shatters. She's a childless widow in a foreign land, completely vulnerable. Hearing the famine back home is over, she decides to return and urges her daughters-in-law to go back to their own families. She has nothing left to offer them. With tears, Orpah turns back. But Ruth refuses. She clings to Naomi and makes one of the most incredible vows ever recorded. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. This was a radical act of faith, abandoning her country, her culture, and her gods to follow a grieving widow into an unknown future. Their arrival in Bethlehem is bleak. When the townspeople greet Naomi, which means pleasant, she stops them. "Call me Mara," she says, which means bitter, "because the Almighty has made my life very bitter." But while Naomi is stuck in her grief, Ruth takes action. The barley harvest is beginning, so she goes to the fields to glean, gathering leftover grain, a provision made for the poor. And here's where the story turns. She just happens to find herself in a field belonging to a man named Boaz, a wealthy relative of Naomi's late husband. Boaz notices Ruth and is blown away by her story of loyalty. He tells her to stay in his fields, where she'll be safe, and even instructs his workers to leave extra grain for her. That night, Ruth comes home with a shocking amount of grain. When Naomi hears the name Boaz, a flicker of hope ignites. She realizes this isn't a coincidence. It's the hand of God. And then she reveals a game-changing piece of information. Boaz is one of their kinsman redeemers, a male relative who has the duty to rescue a family member in trouble. Seeing a divinely appointed way out, Naomi comes up with a daring plan. She tells Ruth to go to the threshing floor at night, wait until Boaz is asleep, then go uncover his feet and lie down. This was an incredibly bold act, putting her reputation entirely in Boaz's hands. That night, Ruth does exactly as she's told. When Boaz wakes up, she asks him to spread the corner of your garment over me, a symbolic way of asking for marriage and protection. Boaz, full of admiration for her noble character, promises to redeem her, but reveals there's one other relative with the first right. The very next morning, Boaz goes to the town gate and confronts the other redeemer. The man agrees to buy Naomi's land, but when Boaz adds that the deal includes marrying Ruth the Moabite, the man backs out. With the legal hurdle cleared, Boaz declares to everyone that he will marry Ruth. Soon, they have a son named Obed. The emptiness Naomi felt is now overflowing with joy. But the story doesn't end there. The final verses reveal the true scale of this personal story. Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse was the father of King David. Through the loyalty of a foreign woman and the integrity of a good man, God was quietly laying the foundation for Israel's greatest king, placing Ruth directly in the ancestral line of the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ. Their journey from bitterness to blessing wasn't just for them. It was for a royal dynasty and for the hope of all humanity.